Hey folks, Sleepyhead here. This is the Woodstock Fire Tower doing the Tuscarora Trail, but because of the relocation, I have to do several miles on the Massanutten Trail. This is just off of the trail. Like I said, the fire tower, I'm not going to do much taping because right now we're doing the Massanutten Trail because this is the relocation. I'm hiking with Ben for the day till we get to Elizabeth Furnace. All right, and thus beginneth the last 3 sections of the Tuscarora Trail for me to finish. That's where you're supposed to come, but it's closed. We have to turn around and go the other way. And here's the official end to the relocation. You're now back on the trail. 8 miles to Elizabeth Furnace. Well, the Tuscarora up here on the ridge is just lovely. It's flat, not necessarily flat, but it's a beautiful trail. So it starts out good. Alright, well the trail so far has been really nice. It reminds me of a section near the tower in Pennsylvania off of Ogwick Road. Beautiful trail. Now this is more like the Tuscarora in PA. Nice and rocky. Well, she's now starting to show signs of lack of use. This is just like PA. Well, the trail's now gotten to a point where I can't tell where it's at. I don't see any blazes. So we're just going to stay on the ridgetop for a little while. I guess that constitutes a blaze. Went a long ways before we saw that. If this is your idea of hiking, then you should go for this. If not, I'd probably stay away from this section. It's just non-stop rush, getting lost. It's just been hard. Once you get yourself off that ridge, it's back to sanity. It's kind of insane for anybody to want to go across that ridge. And just for the fun of it, I believe this is your trail. Well, I think the section above the Pennsylvania Turnpike just got beat. This is ridiculous. After more weed whacking, we do finally get to a pine tree spot. That's nice. After what seemed forever, we are now finally going downhill. And of course, the trail is much nicer. All right, we got down into this little gully here. There's a little bench over there. I think that's where I'm going to sit and have lunch. All right, this is what you cross the Massanutten Trail. You get this little crossing of Little Passage Creek, and then you go up through here. Now, I have videotaped this before because this was the last 4.5 miles of our Signal Knob hike several videos ago. This will be a much nicer pathway. So now that we're in the Signal Knob loop, obviously the trail is going to be so much better, but still buggy. Here comes my buddy walking up the hill with a broken hiking stick. And you just can't beat coming down Green Ridge. This has been wonderful after what we've been through. One thing else I love about coming down on this side of the ridge is all the camping places. Just perfect camping places. Not a good place to stop and video, but it's a little rivet crossing with lots of bugs. Well, I'm not sure what the sense says of going any further than this. This looks like a perfect spot. Why pay at the furnace if you can get a place like this? All right. Good night for the first trek on the Tusky in this last section. And I'm taking my buddy Ben down to the road. But that's the goals. Hey, good morning. This is going to be day 2 of my journey to finish the Tuscarora Trail. Somebody's up 2 with me. And I meet my son, hopefully, at the parking lot. And once again, good morning. After a good night's sleep, I'm being joined by my son who's studying the sign. And now we're going to continue. Now the Tuscarora and the Massanutten Trail are the same thing. We just go down this little lane. Rare moments on the TT. We're going across Little Passage Creek. And then we head up. All right, now we're going to be taking this path and then eventually heading up the mountain. The sign doesn't say it, but we got 8 miles to the Little Crease Shelter. All right, howdy-ho. Not convinced that that's the perfect spot for a picnic. Bugs are really bad down here too. All right, we have the remnants of the furnace here. The trail just skirts by as I shoot into the sun. And I get the feeling it won't stay like this for long. Well, look what we found here. Stuff you don't usually see on the Tuscarora, but since this shares with the Massanutten, now we get bridges. So all we're going to do is spend a while is switch backing up, but at least the trail's far beautiful, far much better than it was yesterday. All right, as we're progressing upwards, we are definitely catching stones. But it's an easy up, it's just long switchbacks. Don't know how well that's turning out, but kind of typical Tuscarora scenery. We have these big massive rock piles and bugs. All right, we've done 2.5 miles up to this point. You say, well, why are you going out to Buzzard Rock? Because it's 3.5 miles out to Buzzard Rock from here. Our goal is to stay on the Tusky and get to Little Creek Shelter, 6 miles. Now, this is something I haven't seen a lot on the Tusky. Maintenance, love this. But again, we're also on the Massanutten Trail. So for 3 miles, we're gonna have this ridgetop walking, but thank God the trail's cut. All right, after some weed whacking, but a path, we're now on the ridge line, and you can see a blue blaze on the left. Gives you a little bit of a view, but not much. Now these are the happy moments when you get some pine and some open woods to walk. Rare, but happy, except the swarm of bugs. And as you might be able to hear, it is now raining. But at least the trail is open again. Now to add to your confusion, you get 3 blazes. We're going down in the Sherman Gap, but at least the trail is available. Yeah, well, coming out of Sherman's Gap, you got one steep climb. And now we're just kind of hugging the mountainside, but at least they didn't pull us over top. Just beautiful ridgetop walking up here. Again, the trails now doing a ridgetop, but it's so reasonable, and there are a number of camping spots up along here. And now we hit the overlook. The Shenandoah River snaking its way down below, which is where we end up today. Well, yeah, and then we head up to the Shenandoahs. I think I found my favorite spot on the trail in this area. What a gorgeous view off this. I believe this is Little Creek Mountain. Just random video because the trail's just been so generous as we've gone down. It's just beautiful. It's hard to believe that this is the Tuscarora Trail because it's so nice. All right, here's the Little Creek Shelter. As you've been following my series, I've been staying in the shelters, but not this time. My son and I are going to try to go all the way to the Shenandoahs. So we're just going to stop in for like a lunch. Hey folks, Sleepyhead here. I'm at the Little Creek Shelter in for an early lunch with my son. It's clouding up. It could be rain coming up very soon. But we're going to just call it on out of here. We're going ahead and finish up the whole thing today. We'll be up in Shenandoah National Park. It's a good haul yet, so we probably aren't going to be here very long. Tuscarora Trail, I'll have it all finished today. It's not for the novice. You've got to know what you're doing out here. It's a tough hike. Enjoying it. It's got its moments though where I'm not enjoying it. So anyway, we just heard a big branch come down, and I was suspicious there might be a bear nearby. That'd be cool. So we're going to move on. Hope you're enjoying the video. I've got to shut this thing off now. All right, we're just beyond the shelter. This is typical George Washington National Forest scenery, and we're soon at the trail divide. The climb out of the shelter is merciless. Really hard. Got us breathing tough. Not sure that's readable. It says 1.7 to SR 613. This is where we split. Tuscarora goes straight, Massey goes that direction. And there's the wonderful sun. And this is your descent. There, if you want something historical to read, put on pause and read. Have at it. This is 2/10 of a mile till we get down to the road. Now it's going to be a long road walk. All right, well, we're coming down to the road. Probably do very little taping at the road. I might tape the river. We're going to cross. Might hang out at the canoe shop for a few minutes. Looks like we may have some kind of storm brewing in the background. All right, it's a long 3-4 mile road walk. Barely blazed, but I know I had to get to the bridge. The skies look beautiful, but there's a thunderstorm coming. So as we already know, the Tuscarora Trail has share of this kind of walking. Maybe not with the thunderstorm going. To Route 340, our backcountry walk. This is what you get to walk along 340. That gushing water is just from this thunderstorm that we are having. As you can tell, it's been raining, and we're going to be heading up through there. Not the most pleasant conditions coming off 340, but it's what we got. Always study the signs to know where you're going. I've had several of these now, nasty blowdowns. Now we're back to our normal Tuscarora trail. All right, to this cement marker, we're going to turn right. At the concrete post, you're not going down straight because that takes you down to some nice pools and cascades, but time constraints, we're going to go left and back up. It seems like this that show the best part of the Tuscarora trail. Too bad it's not like this most of the time. All I can say is it's not bad when it's not rocky. But the bugs now are bad. So we got some nifty stream crossings. Nothing beats a trail when it gets to follow along a creek. Overall run. Okay, we're just pushing our way up through Shenandoah National Park with the falls off to our right. Uphill we trod. With all this strenuous uphill, we probably getting soon to the falls. You can hear off to the right. Beautiful view of it. Crowded here at the overlook. That's probably the real falls, but that's the one, not the one at Cecily. And that's Tuscarora. Alright, this is what I believe would be considered the lower falls. There's a mid falls up there, and then there's an upper falls. We should be out in a minute. This is all part of the overall run falls. Certainly great having my son along because, hey, he's carrying all my stuff now. Can't beat that. Beautiful. This is overall falls from the bottom. Too bad you don't see a lot of this on the Tuscarora trail. So this is the top of overall falls. Definitely loving the level stretches. Alright, I'm putting my son in this video because he's along with me. We're at the junction where you turn left to go up to Tusky, and you turn right to go down to Matthew's Arm, and we're obviously going to stay on the Tusky. And there is a bit of monotony walking uphill to the end of the trail, but it's a nice open path here in the national park, so can't complain. So as we get near the end, it is all uphill, pushing up to over 3,000. All right, it's not very celebratory here, but this is the post that indicates we have now completed the Tuscarora Trail. You turn left on the Appalachian for 4/10 of a mile to get to Hogback parking lot. So that's the end of it. There's nothing else here to celebrate except me. All right, and this is the very final. We're at the parking lot, and the trail session is over. All 250 miles of the Tuscarora Trail is done.